Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Do you need me to tell you where I am? I am in Christchurch at Link headquarters. As you guys know, we've been working with Link on the channel now from pretty much when we started. They've been a huge part of what I do, and they really helped me understand the fundamentals of tuning and making sure that we just are always in check when it comes to building our builds. I think Link has saved me more times than I can count, and I'm really excited to finally be here at the HQ in New Zealand to see what they're all about and even build my own ECU for the comp car. So let's head inside. I love this entrance. Welcome to the laboratory of speed. That's kind of cool. Yeah, come on guys, this is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And starting off with this little guy. It's kind of cute. Ducati bike too. A bunch of their like displays are actually still being brought back from LZ World Tour, so normally that's a lot fuller than it is, but they've got a couple of awards and stuff here, nice little waiting area. Their office is absolutely massive, but probably my favorite corner is this. They've got some beautiful sim setups. Looks like that one's got an e-brake, so you could probably drift that one. And then this one looks like it's set up for grip racing. Triple monitors, nice frames, and look at this. All the staff race against each other and put their time on the board. I like that, bragging rights. I was looking at their little wall of fame here and I noticed a familiar face. It's Daiki, guys. How did Daiki get on here? That's so funny and random. So now it's time for the ultimate test. You guys know I used to be into a bunch of IT stuff and do a lot of electronics, including soldering and repairs back in the day. And well, the boys have set up one of their soldering stations here. And what are we doing today? This is Arlo. Run us through. What are we working on?
Basically, we're working on a Voodoo Pro COM board. So this is sort of what it should look like finished before it actually gets put into the body itself.
Okay.
This is the starting PCB. Mm-hmm. We'll work with these, chuck them in the 4 holes, get you to solder them up from the back, and it should look something like that. Mm-hmm. Then we'll assemble it through onto this, chuck it in this jig over here, and get these SMAs soldered up on the bottom, so they'll end up looking something like that.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm a little nervous because it's been a while, but I'm pretty confident that we can get this done. Yeah, I think we got this, guys. It's just a couple wires, right, boys? What could go wrong?
Just rub it around in there. It's pretty good.
Sick. All right, boys. We got our wires all in here. Let's go through and see if we can get these tinned up. I feel like Lewis Rossman right now. Nice. All right, what do you think?
Looking pretty good. Up to code.
Up to code?
I'd say it's up to code.
Up to code? Awesome. Now let's get the next part done, hey?
Right. This part might take a little bit more setup. We're going to set up the jig, but you're also just going to take this sort of plastic nut off, take this and try and line it up in there and just squeeze it until she's in.
That's a cool little jig.
Yeah.
3D printed ends too?
3D printed ends, yeah.
And then
sometimes it helps to do this as well. You pop it like a little bit and then just give her a push. It probably is fine, but it always makes sure it's flush.
Bit more.
Yeah, solder away.
And this is for the Wi-Fi antennas, right?
Yep, Wi-Fi antennas. It's for both the antennas.
Nice, and then I'll just redo that. Nice. Damn, that turned out good. Do you remember this? Awesome. And then this is done.
That's the sub-assembly.
That's so cool.
Pretty nice.
And then this is where I guess the ribbon cable connector goes to the main board for the Voodoo.
Well, we have got it set up if you do want to have a go at cranking the rest together, but it's up to you.
I kind of want to.
Yeah?
Probably connecting.
Yeah, once it's out of the way, it can kind of just fold in, but it needs a little bit of jimmying and shaking around.
Like a glove, mate.
There you go. So go like decently close as you can without.
Yeah, this thing's got some torque to it.
Yeah, it does. You can change it up, but I think we're on like 1 point something Newton meters.
I want to buy one of these.
They're pretty cool. And then that one you can just bang it in all the way. It'll clip. Yep.
And that means it's tight?
Yep. And then the other one you can do the same and it'll clip.
So this is essentially like a torque gun that we use putting wheels on, but for the electrical guys.
Yeah. Just a tiny torque.
You can get like a bunch of different ranges and then you can set it on the thing so you can decide what torque limit.
That's ready to go and get serial synced and the boards integrated together. And then from there it goes into the burn-in tester.
That's awesome.
And that's it. That's pretty much a Voodoo Pro.
Special SAMMIT edition now available. That's cool. Thank you for letting me do this.
No worries.
Look at this, we're even proper. We got a static strap. So this is your burn-in tester.
Yep.
This is where you stress test everything to make sure it's good before it goes out. And these are Voodoo Pros that have been assembled.
Yep, so these are running through burn-in, so it'll be 2 hours under heat cycle.
Wow, that's awesome.
20,000 kind of tests.
How much
every pin, and then we get a report. If anything even kind of falls outside of the thresholds we've put, then it gets reviewed.
That's cool.
This is just quality assurance process.
So that looks like plugins, atoms, so many in here. This is just one section. Quick question though, what's the return on investment and how many Bitcoin does this generate?
If only. You know, we're burning energy here.
So cool. So the Voodoo Pro that I just assembled is going to end up in here and get tested?
Yep. Yeah, that way we make sure you did it right.
Yeah, hopefully we did, fingers crossed. When the ECUs are getting burnt in tests, Matt was telling me that they get brought up to 70 degrees and run for a certain amount of time under extreme conditions to make sure that they're going to hold out. So it's really cool to know that. Matt was saying that they've been doing this since like the start of the company, which is also why this particular burn-in tester has some of the old logos on here, which is super cool because that's their history. And it also shows just how dedicated they are to making sure that their product really doesn't ever have to come back under warranty.
The next day.
And the verdict is all green. If I keep scrolling, if we see red, we're in trouble, I think. Oh yeah, we made a good ECU.
Big pass.
Big pass.
Yesterday.
So I'm checking out Jared's station here right now, and he's got some really cool R&D stuff here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, it's just mainly stuff for the new ECU being released. We got the comms module for the Voodoo Neo. So we've gone with the new ECU having like a stacked PCB design. So we've got bottom board ECU module, comms module on top there. Still prototype version that I've got here, not the final one, as you can tell from the green wires all over it.
Yep. So these are called jumpers usually, right? When you gotta do a little patch or something.
Exactly, green wire it.
That's so cool. And then this is the, I guess, was this your first revision?
That was the first one, and we tried a few different things. Had to take the GPS module off to then wire up some other things to get other things actually working.
That's cool. I always love seeing like first revisions and how they evolve because no one ever gets a PCB right from the start.
No.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what a PCB is, it's essentially like multiple layers of all these traces of wires that all connect to all the different components that are on the board. And just think of it as like a multi-layered egg sandwich from Japan, right? Like that's literally how it is, but everything goes in all these different places and connects to everything. And if you get any tiny thing wrong, well, then you got to either like scratch a little hole through it to break the bad trace, and then like reconnect it with a different little patch wire, add a couple little components in there, and then you get to this, and then you'll still find like maybe a little mistake here and there, and then hopefully by the third revision, you got a good board.
Good, yeah, exactly.
So cool to see the progression. And then this board here obviously isn't an ECU, that's just for testing that, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. So when we created these, we didn't have the ECU board that it goes onto, so we had no way of actually breaking out all the I/O and stuff on here. So we had to create just a development board basically to let everything that's on this board be able to be tested. And
that's super cool. And when PCBs are designed, it's kind of, I guess, like CADing software in a way, right? How you design everything out.
Yeah.
So cool.
ECAD, or you call it electronic CAD, which it all gets designed with and generates all the files, which you then send to the manufacturer.
I love that. Oh, dude, it's so cool. Also, just like I'm geeking out over just the little PCB holders. These things are super
these things
cool.
are great.
They're great.
These things are good. And we've got these little probes you can put on, so you can real easily get onto components, so I don't have to hold it there with one hand.
Yeah, and then you connect your probe straight in the top there.
Yeah, exactly.
And that, because that's just like the little flexi base thing. Oh, that's
exactly.
so cool.
It's so handy. And so if you want to test, probe 6 different channels at once, you can get a logic analyzer, put these all on, and you don't have to actually have 3 different hands.
3 different hands. Yeah. I got good at like big finger things, so like when I'm soldering, I've got this really cool technique where I can like hold the solder with like these 2 fingers where I'm holding that and feed it in. Yeah. We're just in the warehouse right now, and this entire wall is full of these bins, full of all their different model plug-in ECUs. And you guys have seen us use this NGTT one. I think we used it on this giveaway stage here with the Neo RB25, and then next to it here is the NGTR, which is used in a lot of the Skylines. So many. I'm literally like a kid in the candy store in the warehouse, and I'm trying my best to make sure I don't put anything in my pockets. I think my favorite part about your warehouse is that you have this whole section of like project cars for staff.
It's definitely a perk of the job, that's for sure.
This is wild, dude. Okay, this may be the only Subaru build that I'm excited about. Do you want to tell the people what this is?
Sure, so it's basically EZ30 swapped auto BRZ.
Flat 6, guys.
Flat 6.
Flat 6, and there is probably not even finger space. I can't get my finger through the frame rail in there.
It is definitely tight, and it's kind of the same, it's about the same width in terms of engine dimension as the FA20 as well. So I kind of knew it was going to go in from the start, and then looking at it I was like, oh, it's a little tight.
A little tight.
Nothing, a little bit of percussive maintenance won't fix.
So this is on a Link, obviously?
Yeah, it's originally tuned on the plug-in.
Okay.
Now we're doing Neo 4 testing on it.
So cool. I guess, what are your plans for this? Because, I mean, it just... Turbo, supercharger, or NA?
Ease of access would be supercharger. Yeah, definitely, because it just means that I don't have to have my nice, pretty headers redone, because those were pretty nice.
See if we can get a good
Not
look
that
at
you can
them.
see them.
You can
but-
kind of see them down there. Oh yeah, they look good when the light reflects off them. It looks relatively like it went in here really nice, hey?
That is what a lot of people have said, yeah, like in terms of like depth in the engine bay, it kind of, I think it's like 3 or 4 centimeters longer than the FA20.
Does it sit lower than the factory motor? It looks like it does, but
looks
maybe
like
it doesn't.
It does. I think it's just because of the amount of stuff on the FA20. It kind of
Okay.
like,
Yeah, they sit lower than they do in the Legacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then did everything kind of just bolt up? Like AC lines, they seem like the stock ones work perfectly.
Yep. That engine mount's exactly the same. So
What?
basically you could just use the EZ30 engine mounts and drop it straight in, and the bolts holes line up perfect.
Bell housing bolts.
Bell housing bolts, yeah, for the
So
gearbox.
you got the stock gearbox on this then?
Yep, stock auto gearbox is holding power pretty nicely. I've got a automatic transcooler just so that it doesn't get too hot because heat kills transmissions.
And then I guess you just made this stainless steel pipe here for the coolant.
Yeah, I had one of Ruben's mates did the stainless steel pipe for the front. Yeah.
So relatively simple swap in a way,
Yes.
but also not because
Yeah.
it's
The-
a flat 6.
Yeah, definitely. The two problems I found at least were headers,
Mm-hmm.
because headers were a tough part of it, and also probably ECU, I would say.
Okay.
It's like you basically just you're having to get a aftermarket ECU
To get it to work.
to get this to work.
Yeah. Well, luckily, you know a guy.
Yeah, luckily.
Luckily, hey.
Luckily.
Keep telling you guys, these are the new S chassis in Japan at the moment. It's really quiet.
It is quite quiet, yeah. Until you get on it, and then it kind of opens up quite a bit. The intake noise is a lot louder than the exhaust.
The intake's louder than the exhaust?
Intake seems a lot louder than the exhaust, at least from the front. But yeah, it's the stock system, right? Like it's kind of stealth. I wanted a stealth build from the start.
Well, it definitely is. Like these cars are so like no one's going to expect that under the hood. I feel
exactly. Yeah, and it's just a pretty stock-looking car. Like
no, yeah, it's stock. Like there's honestly, other than like the wheels being aftermarket, you can't really tell anything's done to this, and that's awesome. It's a proper sleeper.
It is a proper sleeper, and it's like a slightly more power than the original FA20.
Yeah, but it sounds probably miles better.
And also the torque curve.
Yeah.
Is a hell of a lot nicer than the FA20. Yeah.
Yeah, it literally looks like a stock exhaust on the back.
Yep.
Except you added an STI logo.
Oh, I bought it like that.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
bought it like that. Also, I don't know. It gets a little bit of character.
Is that factory?
I bought it like that, so I assumed there was some option that had the Subaru logo on the bottom.
How do you say that?
Subaru?
Subaru?
Yeah. It's Kiwi, I guess.
Is that a Kiwi way of saying it?
It is?
It's not Subaru? It's not Subaru?
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 A few moments later.
That's all intake, man.
That's all
I don't even hear the exhaust note.
It's you hear it on the highway, and that's kind of about it. Once it opens up, like it's yeah.
Do you still have that hose that like goes to the engine bay through the dash?
I deleted that basically.
It's probably so loud you don't need it.
Yeah.
This is the only boxer engine I feel like I want to do things with. Like I feel like this was like, I don't want people to, like it's a hot take, but this may be the coolest boxer engine the Subaru ever made.
I did put it in my car.
Yeah. For cars. Subaru's made some pretty wild engines for aeroplanes and stuff, but like, I feel like the flat six is really cool.
It's such a sweet engine, and you know, with the whole Porsche connotations as well, I think it was kind of like a cool, like homage, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though it's like a front engine, obviously, but it's kind of like a cool Japanese like Porsche.
Yeah, and some of the R&D stories that you hear from Subaru about this are pretty cool too. It was a really cool period. This is Rob, everybody, and you've got some really cool stuff to show us on this table here, which is, I guess, the origin story of Link. Do you want to run us through what all these products are?
So this is where it all started back in 1991. This is the Link EMX. It's not even a G generation. Then we shipped to the G1, still with the classic hand control. Then G2, 3, 4, now to the current day G5 Voodoo Pro. There's pluses missing from that range, but it's the simple generations.
That's amazing. So what exactly, was this the hand controller for the ECU in the car back in the day? Like you kind of use this to...
Yeah, so the first generation, the EMX, you didn't plug a computer in. You literally use this device here to increase your maps and all your adjustments. You're doing complete cross.
That's wild. And then I guess from there it then went to using software.
Yeah.
They're using the PC Link, yeah. And we went from a serial connector to then... Oh, yeah, there you go. Then we start seeing the USB. Dude, that's so cool. It's wild to think that my first Link was a G4. I skipped all of that. And then these are some of the first gen plug-in ones, I assume, right? For certain ECUs?
Yeah, I can't remember
for certain
which.
model cars.
I've got a 3, 4, 4 Plus, and I think that's a 2.
That's Evo. What was that like for an actual Evo, like car model, you think?
Correct, yeah, that would have been the Generation 3 Evo plug-in.
That's wild. So cool. All the support for plug-in, like just plugging into OEM harnesses is awesome. Yeah, the G4 was my first ever ECU. Very cool. And then these ones I have a lot of experience with, the G4 Plus plugins. These are awesome. And then now, obviously, we've leveled up to the Voodoo Pro, and the plugins are getting the same kind of G5 updates and stuff like that as well, which is fantastic. Dude, so cool to see this laid out like this. This is wild to me, the knob, when you select it, and then more, down, page, that's page up and that's page down, boys. So cool. In the repair room here, they have all these little cubby holes of all replacement components to either replace or rebuild or fix any board. So cool. It's actually really awesome because not many people know that a lot of components come on these little trays like this, like chips, and they just pop out, kind of like pills. It's really, really cool. Anyways, we'll put that back in. But look at all the different components, like map sensors and stuff. Oh man, I could geek out here forever. Look at all the little chips. Oh, those are old school boys. That's so cool. Oh man. Look at the little USB-C headers and stuff. Gosh. Everything here to make your own ECU. These chips that we looked at before is from some of the first generation G series. So they still have parts to repair and fix them. That's so cool. We have arrived at my favorite department, guys. Yo, this isn't the IT department. This is sick. They got a whole filming studio. This is great. Dang, now I'm jealous. I want one of these. Welcome to another Link technical video with me, Sam. Hi guys, this is interesting. That aside, I want to give you 3 reasons why you should buy a Link. First of all, from the get-go, boys, we've been taught how important protection is. So before you go dump a ton of your money and life savings into building a project car, make sure you get a Link ECU so that you can have all the engine protection in play so that if anything happens, you're saving your investment. Second reason, they're just cool. They're purple and they're sick. Third reason, best bang for buck. Seriously, I don't know any other ECU on the market that is that good value when it comes to customer support, all the features, and especially all the new stuff that's coming out with their new products I'm super excited about. And then for the fourth option, you want to support local businesses. The ECU is made and designed here in New Zealand. Their PCB and components come from Australia and New Zealand, and final assembly and everything is done here. You guys have seen some of the R&D stuff that's been going down, and it's really exciting, and I think it feels awesome to be supporting a local New Zealander owned company. And you know what? Fifth option, do it because I told you to. We are back in Japan. Look who came to pick us up, Yugo and May. We're about to leave the car park.
I am lost. Narita, I haven't been at Narita for like 10 years or something?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've flown into Narita.
Oh.
Usually I always fly in and out of Haneda, but the only flights that worked from New Zealand was a layover in Melbourne to then fly into Narita for some reason. Yeah, anyways. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun with the Link, guys. Everything was very rushed and just trying to like get in and out and back home as soon as possible. Tomorrow, we're making some really, really good content that I think a lot of you are gonna be super stoked on. We're bringing a car back that you've all been asking for, and a bunch of stuff finally arrived for us to get that happening. So I'm really excited about that. So tune into the next one. Thank you again to everyone that showed up to the LZ World Tour, and thank you to everyone in New Zealand that showed amazing hospitality. I had an amazing time. You guys were incredible, and we will be back. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Peace.